What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and as usual, we're going to be going over the charts. We're going to go over the Dow, the DXY, and Bitcoin and see what's going on. We'll take a look at Bitcoin in the bigger time frames from the monthly all the way down to the 4-hour. Definitely stick around for the whole video. You're not going to want to miss this. We're going to take a look at our support and resistance lines. Also, if you guys would take 1 second out, smash those thumbs up. I'll wait for you. Seems like I've been getting a lot more likes if I give you a chance. All right, there you go. And also share the video if you would. Help get this stuff out there. We've been spreading this information for a long time. We called the .com compared to Bitcoin bubble pop on December 2nd, and we've been following that ever since. We're not going to go over that chart today. We're going to go over everything else. You can check out any prior video to see that. I'm going to make this video kind of quick. They are going to be setting up the forms to pour my basement today. I'll keep you guys updated on that. On Twitter, you can follow me on my Twitter. My Twitter link is down below. Make sure you use my links out of here. For Twitter, it's at CryptoSavvy1 because there's a lot of imposters out there. So if you guys do see those imposters on my Twitter, notify me so I can get it out there and we can all report them. So anyways, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on in the markets. So as you guys know, we keep an eye on the Dow. The Dow is down 47 as of pre-market. Anything can happen throughout the day. S&P is down 10, NASDAQ down 54. Now, this is the falling channel that we've been watching for. I told you open and close, it would be bullish. So far looking bullish, but there's a lot of things in here that are pointing differently. I do not think that we are going to make a new all-time high, although I could be wrong, but I'll show you why. Let's take a look at what's going on here. As you can see here, we're making higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the RSI on this uptrend. That is bearish divergence. So does look like it'll be turning over. Now, there is a possibility we get one more push up to test this trend line on the daily right here. If that happens, then I expect to see a major rejection up a little higher. But either way, like I said, I think this thing is going to go down, and it's going to go down hard at some point in the coming months. So be very cautious and be very, very careful. We could also take a look at the weekly real quick. And as you can see on the weekly, if we draw our trend lines from these highs, let's go from this high here to where we're at now, that's a lower high. And if we draw that same line in the weekly here, we got a higher high. So hidden bearish divergence in a downtrend. So on the daily, we were in an uptrend and it showed bearish divergence, right? So now we're looking at the downtrend. It is hidden bearish divergence. Hidden divergence is a continuation of the trend. The trend is down. The trend should continue down. Let's take a look at the DXY. So the DXY, we've been looking at this rising channel, which we broke out of here. This is something I want to point out. As you guys know, my target's around 122, and then I have much, much higher targets after that. But I do think we'll get a pullback in this area. But as you can see here, this is the 200 EMA. Right here, and I said we could still come down, tag this, maybe even go a little below before a continuation up, but I think we are going to stay in this parabolic run for the DXY for a while. And let me show you back in the 80s, right? That same line, every time we came down, we come down a little bit below it, but get a huge bounce off it, come back down below it a little bit, huge bounce, over and overs. That is our major support right now, is the 200 EMA, guys. Throw that on your chart. That is what I'm watching. So we usually get a massive bounce off that, which each bounce usually will bring Bitcoin down. I know all this stuff going on with Bitcoin and the exchanges, guys. Be careful with that. I think there's a lot more pain to come. Like I said, we talked about the crypto scam washout all the way back in December by looking at the Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart. It does seem to be playing out. Scams are getting washed out. I believe there's plenty more to come, so be careful. As you guys know, I'm looking for the bottom sometime in middle or end of next year, and I think it's going to be a lot lower than most people are thinking. I have not changed my call since December 2nd. 35 to 4,500, still looking in that range. I could be wrong, although none of this is financial advice, but so far everything's been playing out beautifully. If you guys are interested in trading, definitely check out Prime XBT, by far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. I've been warning about that stuff for a long time. Like all the other exchanges, they are a book. Stay away from the B books. Hit the A book exchanges, guys, if you are going to trade. You can trade the Dow futures, S&P, gold, silver, oil, Bitcoin, altcoins, Forex, everything all from one exchange. You can have multiple trades in, longs and shorts. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. But remember, especially what's going on, don't put all your money on an exchange. Only what you're going to trade if you do decide to trade. You can use my promo code SAVVY50. That'll get you up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margin. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off of your fees. I have a link down below. I'll leave a tutorial at the end of the video so you can check it out. It shows you how to adjust the margin, things like that. Also at the end of the video, I'm going to be leaving up top my Amazon compared to Bitcoin analysis from December 2nd. So let's take a look at the this is the Brave New Coin Index. So it hasn't updated yet today, but as you guys know, we've been watching this monthly trend line, which we got rejected off of just like we expected. Now let's look at the weekly. So the weekly, we broke our trend line here. I showed you guys the hidden bearish divergence, which is higher highs in the RSI and the weekly, lower highs in the price action. It is playing out beautifully. What we're going to be doing now is, do we come back up and retest this trend line on the RSI? That is a possibility. We're going to take a look at all that. But here's my longer view. I do believe that we got rejected off our weekly. I believe we'll continue to do so. But remember, once we break this weekly trend line and hold above it, open and close another weekly above it, then I think we would see our false bottom at that point, which I think is going to be around 75 to 8,500, the false bottom. What I'm looking at is right here. I drew this in last week just to kind of give you an idea. I'm looking for a bounce at this 14.5 area. Whoops. And I'll show you why I got that. But that 14.5 area, looking for a bounce around in here for a while into possibly the beginning of next year. Between the 14.5 and 18.5 range. Once we break this 14.5, then I look for 75 to 8,500. That's where I believe the false bottom will be. Sometime in February or March, get a bounce back up, maybe retest this 14.5, get everyone super bullish again, because that will be the point I believe we break the weekly trend line, only to roll over and make a new lower low middle or end of next year. That is what I'm looking for. Obviously, there's no guarantees, but let me show you how I got the 14.5. We actually made this target back here when it broke 21 back in August, and all that is the measured move, this rising broadening wedge, getting us back down to this point. I do believe we are still most likely going to tag this, although we could go up, retest the 8 EMA on the weekly at as high as 18.8-ish. But I said we'll break down into smaller time frames and look at it. But also how these measured move targets, remember when we broke back here, this was, we called it before the break, but it actually broke back in May of 22, and we had the target of 25,000. We nailed it, and then we looked at this as a bear flag here with the same flagpole, and we nailed this target. We called this back in May. Before it happened, as you guys know, if you were around at that time, I was up in Tennessee on vacation when all this happened. But then we got this little rally up, and we looked at that as a rising broadening wedge, which gave us the 14. Then if we use that same bull flagpole, bring it down to here, that gets me that 8,500 range, which I believe we'll probably see sometime in the beginning of next year. But let's take a look at the daily. So the daily, as you guys know, this is the 4 hour. Let me go to the daily, then we'll go into the 4 hour. So looking at the daily here, we broke this trend line. Let me look at it on the daily. Looks like we may come back up to retest it, but I'm not convinced. But we could go as high as 18.3 to 18.5 range up in here for a retest of this triangle. But our measured move of that triangle gets us down to 77. Now that doesn't mean we drop straight down, although we could if we break this 14.5. But looking at the RSI, let me move this up so you guys can see it. Looking at the RSI, it does look like the RSI, you see how much it went up here. Looks like we're going to roll back over, come down, hit our 14.5, and then we may range between 14.5 and 18.5 for a few months. a month or two, maybe. But either way, I think once we break this 14.5, we're headed back down towards this 75 to 8,500. Again, January or February, hit these lows and then possibly make a new range in here between, you know, this rally will be 100% rally. That'll get everyone extremely bullish and then come back down. And like I said, sometime towards the middle or end of next year, could see all the way down to 3,500, 35 to 4,500, somewhere in that range. But let's take a look at the 4 hour. 4 hour. And we can also look at the RSI here. Let me point this out. As you guys know, once we broke this over here, we had a target of 21.5, nailed it, hit our shorts, and boom. And I told you, once we broke this 18.3, I think that would be it. And that was it. And I think we still come down to this 14.5. As you can see right here, we're making higher highs in the RSI, right? On a downtrend. Lower highs in the price action. That is hidden bearish divergence. I do expect this to roll over, come back down to at least our 14.5 target. And if you look at the RSI, see how much the RSI has moved up here, but the price has not? That's bearish. That's showing you the hidden bearish divergence here for the rollover, guys. So be cautious, be careful. Everyone's going to be calling the bottom again. I do not think the bottom is in. I've been talking about that forever. A lot of these channels have called the bottom at 65,000, 64,000, 60,000, 55, 50. On and on and on. Until these guys quit calling the bottom, I don't believe the bottom's going to be in. They need to quit calling the bottom. Once they do and they get scared, then you'll know that the bottom is most likely in. But it's not going to shoot straight to the moon. Watch my videos, my past videos, all last week. Check any one of them out. It'll show you my long-term view. I don't think that we are going to see new all-time highs for possibly 10 years, 8 to 10 years now, because we topped last year. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, smash those thumbs up, leave your comments down below, check out these videos. This Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart was December 2nd, 2021, and then check out the Prime XBT tutorial. It has where to put the promo codes and all that, Savvy 50 and Savvy 25, although the numbers are wrong on that. Savvy 50 gets you 7,000, Savvy 25 gets you 25% off your fees. They do help support the channel, so yeah, take it easy, guys. I am out. I will update you on the house later. Have a good one.